All right, here we go. I have a question for you. Have you ever made a decision and then you're like, I don't know if this is going to work or not? Okay, then what did you do next? That is what we are talking about today. But the reason why we are talking about that today is because this is the intro to the Financial Therapy Challenge podcast. And I'm starting it live, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But it's one of those things that I'm like, what am I doing? Is this am I gonna continue this? What needs to happen in order for this to happen? Okay. So that I want to start you out with. I want you to understand where this episode is going so that because what's going to happen is 10 episodes from now, 20 episodes from now, 50 episodes from now, I'm going to instruct people to come back and listen to this one. So, hey there, glad you're here with me in the past, and I'm with you in the future as well. Yeah, see, I say weird stuff like that. So, I want you to know who you're hanging out with. I want you to understand the foundation of why I'm doing this. And I just really want to welcome you to the Financial Therapy Challenge. And I want you to understand that this podcast is a little bit about a lot of different things. However, we talk a lot about financial therapy. And each week, I'm going to give you a little bit of a challenge. The first week or two is just going to be kind of like, I'm going to be using some old episodes to get your attention, to give you some background and a little bit of content. And then after the first 2 weeks, I'm going to go hard in the paint. Like I'm going to record as often as I possibly can. This is important. I have no schedule. Yeah, I have no schedule because this podcast is a recording of me living my idea of prosperity with you and recording it. Oh, shoot, I forgot my water over there. I'll get it in a second. See, and then I do stuff like that. I get distracted. So if you are easily distracted, as I am, or if you're thinking while you're talking, as I do, then you'll understand me. But if you don't do stuff like that, I am going to get on your nerves. But don't worry, because the topics are so good that you might overlook that. So this topic, I'm calling it Intro to Financial Therapy Challenge because it really is the introduction to this podcast, but it also is an introduction to talking to you about what financial therapy is. But before I do that, how about I tell you more about who I am? So I am Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor. Let me back that up. I am Kanae Corder, the world's #1 national certified counselor specializing in financial therapy for business success. And what I do on a daily basis is help financial advisors and mental health professionals incorporate financial therapy into their existing approach. So many of the people that I work with, what happens is they are doing financial planning or they are doing therapy, but their clients have a challenge that they don't know how to deal with, right? If they're a financial advisor, they might have an emotional challenge that they don't know how to deal with. If they are a therapist, their client might have a financial challenge that they don't feel comfortable talking about because aren't really good at it either. But you don't have to be good at finances to understand the emotions or to reconcile your emotions around money. Reconciling your emotions around money is totally different than managing your money. However, you're going to need to have mastery over both in order to get to your idea of prosperity. So that's what we'll talk about here. And the reason why I specialize in this is because it is my mission to change the way that mental health is viewed and administered. It's also my mission to alleviate human suffering associated with money. I'm blending those two together by focusing on alleviating human suffering associated with money. And because money is the #1 cause of stress, whether you have a little or a lot, is still the #1 cause of stress. If we can handle the money challenge, then we can reduce a lot of the stress in the world because stress creates mental and physical illnesses. So you see how they are all connected. So if we just put the money stress top of mind and heal that, we would heal a lot of other things simultaneously. So this is my charge. This is my mission. This is why I was put on this earth. And I'm doing it because I really don't know what else to do. I'm so serious. I'm like, I've tried to give up. I have tried to give up. And that's why I asked the question in the beginning, like, have you ever started something and you were like, you don't really know how this is going to go. You don't know why you're doing it. You don't know if it's going to work. Have you ever done that? I mean, I know we all have. Most of the things that we do, that's how we do it. And if you're brave, then you just set out to do it. And then you're like, whatever happens, happens. But all I know is I am going to do my best and give my all. That's what I know for sure. And that's what this podcast is, me doing my best, giving my all. But let me explain something to you. My best is not perfect. That's not my best. Now, it could be your best. And if that is your best, if your best is like, I'm not done until it's perfect, which I'm going to argue with you that you probably never get done then. But I'm just like, I'm in search of perfection, but I don't expect myself to actually reach it. And I feel like it's like this journey that I'm going to be on for a while because I am a gut person, which we will talk about on this podcast, because some people with, especially with their money, are gut people. And I am a gut person and I go and I adjust along the way. There are others who are head people, which I have a lot of head people around me. I attract head people, which they think and think and think and think and think and think. Many financial advisors are head people. Um, many therapists or mental health professionals are head people. And you can think and think and think only so much. Eventually, you have to take action. And that's why head people have to have gut people around them because they do need things to be almost perfect before they can. They have to look at all the possibilities, everything that could go wrong. And my philosophy is all I need to know is worst case scenario. If I prepare, and I'm not saying that preparing means avoiding worst case scenario. I'm just saying if it happens, can I handle it kind of thing. If I prepare for worst case scenario, that's all I need. The rest of them, I'm like, if I can handle the worst case scenario, for sure I can handle all the rest of them. And once I look at that, then it's like full steam ahead, go. So can I handle worst case scenario of what this podcast will do? Yes. And you want to know why? Because I have decided that this podcast has to work for me. I don't work for this podcast. Yeah, because the last podcast I had, I did work for that podcast and it wore me out and it bored the heck out of me. And I was like, I don't want to be bored and I don't want to be worn. So what I do want to be is informative, entertaining, enlightening, educational, and I want to have some fun. And so what would it take to make this podcast fun? Here you go. It's going to take me posting as often as it occurs to me, right? As often as it hits me. So if that means I post every day for 2 weeks, and then I go 3-4 days before I post again. When I say post, I mean record an episode. And it also needs to coincide or collaborate with something I'm already doing. So because I do this video on YouTube and LinkedIn, and let's just be honest, I get 2 or 3 views on this. And at least I was getting 200 downloads on my podcast. So that's much better than the 2 or 3 views on YouTube or on LinkedIn. I mean, sometimes it's more than that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it is not enough to make a business out of. And my number one marketing is podcasts. I'm usually appearing on other people's podcasts. So if you have a podcast and your target market is service-based business owners or financial advisors or mental health professionals or private practice, I would just say private practice professionals overall, then I'd come on your podcast. If it's not, I will not come on your podcast because I have to serve my audience. And if I'm on another audience, then that means I'm ignoring my audience and I will not do that to them. I owe them my attention. I've promised them my attention. And right now, that is who I serve. That could change in the future. But right now, this is where I am. But let's talk about financial therapy. So, this is, like I said, an introduction to me, but it also is an introduction of the financial therapy challenge, specifically what that is, and a little bit of an introduction to what financial therapy is. There are a lot of different definitions of financial therapy. If you look on the Financial Therapy Association website, pretty long definition. Not going to read that. You can go ahead and read that if you want to. Oh, here's the thing: there probably will not be show notes. If I can make it happen, I will. And if I say something and there's a link, then I will give you that link. But because this is live, I can't always promise that. So what I will do is I will give you a way to reach out to me. I have a free community. Well, there's a free trial because it was free up to, I was making it free for the first 100 people, which I extended a little bit and said to April 30th. So I'm sure that you're listening to this after April 30th. So it's no longer free forever. It is a 14-day trial, at least as this podcast episode stands. That could change in the future. Yes, because that is the way business is done. And if you get upset about businesses changing, I'm just going to say one thing to you. New Coke. Yeah, came and went. Yeah, Coke Classic. Yeah, that's called change. Businesses change. And when they're big conglomerates, you don't know, and you're very forgiving. But when they're small businesses, you're not. When that favorite item on your menu is gone, you are not so forgiving. You're like, I'm never coming back here. They took the succotash off. I don't even actually know what that is, but nobody serves that. Why did I say that? I have no idea. But that's what I'm saying. You're not as forgiving when it is a small business. But I'm telling you, I run my business like it is a big conglomerate. I run my business like I am a CEO of $1 billion corporation. And then when it's time to change, we make changes. And there are no emotions involved in that. Small businesses are a lot more emotional than large businesses. Many larger businesses, and I'm talking about your big conglomerates, they have to make decisions logically because there's so many people involved. But even if it's just me involved, it's still a lot of people involved, right? I have 200 possible podcast listeners. I have, hundreds of people on my email list. I have, yes, hundreds. I know people are like, what? You don't have thousands? No, we keep our email, we clean our email list. And I just did a cleanup. And I was like, if you haven't opened an email in 90 days, you do not want to be here. I understand that. And that is okay. My feelings are not hurt. Yours shouldn't be when I delete you. Okay, good. So if that means we go down to hundreds and now we have 800 or whatever, 900 emails, then that's where we are. That's where we are. I wrote the book, The Art of Starting Over, so I have no problem doing it. And some people will argue with me about that. No, you just keep people on your list. I just don't like clutter. I just don't. And because we have changed our target market a few times, our list is a little bit cluttered. And so people find other people to like and listen and open emails for. And if you stop opening my emails, that just meant I wasn't interesting to you. That doesn't bother me. So I'm going to move on because you have. So anyways, I'm making noise. I'm sorry. Remove those things. That's probably distracting as you listen. So financial therapy. Let me put this on screen. If you're listening, if you're watching this live or you're watching this video, then you will understand that financial therapy is all about, why is that period there? I don't know. Questioning the stories you tell yourself so you can reconcile your emotions around money. So if you have been telling yourself stories, whether it's been about money or not, it kind of goes back to money. Now, not every single thing, but there is a connection between how we get love and our money emotions. What's up, DB? So quality over quantity, right? Exactly. So if your emotions are tied to how you perform, then you are going to think that you have to make a certain amount of money to be valuable. And it is just not true. You've probably heard me say this before if you've been following me for a while, but you are not your bank account. You are not your numbers. You're not your paycheck. You're none of those things. You're nothing that society is trying to measure you by. You are priceless. And so if you have ever said, I know my worth, I know my value, and you are associating it with a dollar amount, then you don't know your worth. You don't know your value. You are priceless. And if nobody has ever told you that, I am telling you that. Got it? Good. So we never have this conversation again. Although you will hear me say it again because new people are always listening and nobody is talking about that. Everybody, the loud voices are saying, you know your worth, you got to know your value and you got to charge it. But I can tell you, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now that's not on one person, but if you count up all the things that I purchased, the classes, the courses, was that person an awesome, amazing person? Absolutely. Was that course? Hell no. And do I sometimes regret it? Yes. Did I also get influenced by some of that and say, well, shoot, I need to raise my price then? Yes. Yeah, we all do. We make emotional decisions around our pricing and around how we show up. Now, I do financial therapy for business success, but there's so many different ways to do financial therapy. But what I want you to understand is even if we're talking about business, it is all around acceptance. So the reason why you change your price usually is because you want to be accepted. So my price is $100,000. You want to hire me? It's $100,000. Oh, you don't accept? Okay. Well, what about 75? Would that work? 75,000? No. Okay. How about 67? So would that work? Okay. You're good. You think that's okay. Great. That we can work together. You accept me. Thank you. Right? No. There's a formula that goes into that. We'll talk about that on the podcast. We have so much to talk about. A lot of it is information. But here's the thing, it's information that not everybody is talking about. In fact, not many people are talking about. And I feel like you deserve this information. And I feel like I am, what's the word? Letting you down, but not being loud enough. And I think that I was put on this earth not to be loud, but to be wise. So I'm a little bit outside myself to be loud, to be, marketing-ish, marketing-esque. And that's not who I am. I know I have on my little jewelry and all of that, and did my hair and put on makeup for you guys. But that is work. That is work. So, I mean, I love to be cute. Don't underestimate me. But being cute is easy. That's so easy for me. I was born cute, But this camera lies. And this camera sees things that the human eye doesn't see. So I got to work a little bit harder to be cute because I'm like, what? What was that? I did not see that in the mirror, but now I see it now that I'm on camera, and I don't have time for that. I don't have time for your judgment, which is a part of the reason why this is going to be a podcast because you can't see me. So I can record it in my pajamas if I want to. And I don't have to go live. I don't have to worry about any makeup or earrings or if there's a hair out of place. None of that will matter because I don't do this for acceptance. I do this for education, for wisdom, and you deserve it. And you have been lied to. You are being lied to over and over and over again. And I don't want that for you. And I was put on this earth to stop that. Remember, I said my mission is to alleviate human suffering associated with money and to change the way mental health is viewed and administered. The reason why I have to do that is because the way it is administered right now, it is not working. Everybody keeps saying we're in a mental health crisis. We are not in a mental health crisis. This is the first time in ages that people are even recognizing that they want some help. That is not a crisis. Don't get me to preaching. Y'all ready to go to church today? Are y'all trying to go to church today? Which church? We go to Baptist church, Catholic church, Lutheran church. I'm a conglomerate of them all. I got all of them inside of me. We going to the mosque? We going to synagogue? Where we going today? but you're going to get some wisdom today and every day you listen to me. That is my commitment to you. That is my commitment to you. No longer will you be lied to. You have no idea how heavy my heart is that you have been lied to and that you believe it and that you're carrying those programs around with you. And then you're telling them to other people, including your children. And then you're mad at them because they're not following your little ways. And they're like, look, mom, dad, I'm seeing you. You're not happy. Why do you want me to do the same thing you did? I'm not doing that. And then they they, what is it called? Acquiesce to your commands. And they say, yeah, that word. I'll just do what you say if I have to. And then they go get a good job and they go get married and they get a dog and they get a house and they settle down. And they're like, yep, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's not happy. It's not good. This is not fun. I got to do this every morning and every afternoon and every night. And my life is repetitive and boring. And I work for somebody else. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with working for somebody else. Only if you're doing what you shine at. So again, I said this podcast was a little bit about a lot of different things. And if I'm doing it on YouTube or LinkedIn and y'all ain't listening, then I'm in the wrong place. So I have to do something because it's my responsibility to serve you. So I would love it if you came to where I am, but you're not doing that. So I'm going to move to where I believe you are. And if I'm wrong, then I'll move again. But the question I asked at the beginning of this podcast was something like, have you ever, remember this is not scripted. I think I said, like, have you ever done something and you're like, how am I going to do this? Well, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I just know that I am. Did you hear me? I don't know how I'm going to do this. I just know that I'm going to do it. And so if it means showing up on a podcast every morning, I'm just going to turn my mic on, say something to you. If I wake up and I'm like, you don't have anything for them, don't just get on there to talk because, Kanae, that's not why you're here. Then I'm not turning that mic on. I'm not wasting your time. But if I have something for you, then I'm on and I'm going to pour into you. That is my promise to you. Now, this went longer than I wanted it to go. And I believe that is because there is so much more that I could say. But I think there is somebody who is listening right now, could be you, who is saying, but I need some help. Like, I don't think you understand the amount of help I need. Everybody thinks I'm happy. I have money and I should be happy. Somebody's saying I don't have money, but I've walked around saying I don't need money. So I should be happy because I'm helping people. There's somebody who's saying, I don't know what I want. I don't understand what you're talking about, reconciling your emotions around money. I didn't even know I had emotions around money. Do I? And what are they? You said I'm trying to get love from money. What are you talking about, Kanae? All right, we got a lot of episodes to go. This is just the beginning. And sometimes I overtalk. Why? Because I want you to get it. You think it's because I want you to like me, accept me. Sure, I'm human, sort of. There's people who would argue with you about that. They say I'm a robot, a mutant, but I don't care what they say. I'm still human. Because even if my program was written for me to be human, that means that I'm human. See, I told you I say weird stuff. So if that weirded you out and you're like, oh my God, what is she talking about? Just laugh it off. Just laugh. You don't have to think my joke is funny. Like, I'm cool with you laughing at me. You don't have to laugh with me because I'm telling you, I love my jokes and I think they're really funny. Oh, I should also warn you, I love to rhyme. So every once in a while, I don't think I've rhymed. I have not had a rhyme in this whole podcast. This is ridiculous. What is wrong with me today? I've got to get on that. Hopefully by the end of this thing, before it ends, bust around for you. But if not, it's okay. You will get it. I'm telling you, you will get it. So these are just some of the quirky things that I do. So some financial therapists are very, what's the word, like parochial, like they're teaching you something, and some, or like even almost like textbook, or like churchy, right? Like and I'm not like that. I'm silly, um abstract, and I'm 90s. So just take it with a grain of salt, because you are going to get so much out of it. So I'm glad you're here. And I don't know what episodes you listen to first, if you're straight to the podcast. If you're live on LinkedIn and YouTube, I am incredibly glad you are here. And I think you freaking rock for going live on LinkedIn or going live on YouTube, because wow. And if you are not on YouTube, can you do me a favor and go head over to YouTube? It's YouTube at financial.therapy. I did not put that in the description, but if you're not there, go ahead and go there and subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers up there, because that's it, just because that's my goal. LinkedIn, I'm good on. I have thousands of people follow me on LinkedIn, because I've been cultivating that audience for a while. But on YouTube, I'm new there. And that is where people count, it's kind of like it's counted. I'll explain later. Too much in this episode. It's time to go. You good? Okay. I'm connecting with you guys. I should tell you that I'm a little bit, what's the word? Woo woo. Did I say that? I don't think I told you that. So if woo woo scares you or turns you off, then this might be your last listen. However, if you are not intimidated by a little woo woo, and you are able to take anything I throw your way, then, my friend, I think we will get along. Yes, we will. And if you're wondering why I all of a sudden have an accent, it's because I just like to have fun, and I have no idea where the accent will come from or go, or what origin or where I came from. But all I know is this accent comes every once in a while. And if you're familiar with fun, then you'll understand. But if fun is foreign to you, then you and we're gonna have a little problem, a little challenge. But we can get over it, we can work through it. This has been Financial Therapy Challenge, and I want to see you in the community. So join me live. We can play around, we can have some fun. Therapy is a serious topic, money is a serious topic, but it doesn't have to be. We can have some fun. We can laugh about it, laugh at ourselves. Yeah, I already gave you permission to laugh at me, so don't think I'm not going to laugh at you. Ha! Believe me. So join me live in the community. I go live at least once a week, sometimes more, and you get to ask your questions. So, like I said, it's free now if you jump in quickly, but you're probably going to get this, I thought, towards the end of the financial therapy month, financial literacy month. And if that be the case, it might not be free anymore, but it will be a free trial. So jump in the free trial. And even if you pay for it, it's going to be a small amount of money, like a very small investment for a huge impact on your business and your life. So the investment will definitely be worth it. And if you want to go deeper, like if you're like, this big community is too much for me, I want to be part of the small group where Kanae shows me how to add financial therapy into my existing approach, then I'll tell you in the community how you can do that. Well, I will talk to you soon, my friend. It has been awesome and amazing. And